Okay, good morning everyone. I welcome you all to this unit, which is CSI 2441 applications development. Okay. These are my details. My name is Dr. Namdunju. I am happy to see many familiar faces, you who know me before as well. So I'm basically a lecturer at School of Science and I'm unit coordinator for this course. So I will be responsible for answering your queries. I am responsible for the contents development and workshops. So I will be tutor helping you in the workshops as well. My office is located in building 18 and 307. If you are on campus, you need to see me, just drop me an email and we can meet on campus. If for online students, you can drop me an email and we can arrange Skype session or phone call. It depends on circumstances. So before starting the lecture, the contents, I just want to quickly introduce the course and why this course is important for you guys. Okay, so this is just a brief outline of general introduction, why we need web applications development. I will quickly go through the, show you course contents, making expectations clear, and what is different this time, because this is third time in delivering this course. So what is different this time? Okay, we all know what web applications are, and we see them all around us nowadays. So why web application is very much around us, why businesses want their systems to have web interface. What's the reason behind it? We know what are desktop applications and how web applications are different from desktop applications. Can someone help me to differentiate them? What is the core difference between desktop applications and web-based applications? Connectivity. So what are the strengths of desktop application? Pardon? You don't need internet connectivity. It's on a single machine. And what are the advantages of web technologies? They basically provide you accessibility all around the world. And businesses are basically coming out from their silos, from their buildings, from their organizations, and exposing themselves to the businesses. Okay? So web technologies provide them a solution. What are the critical features of web technologies which you think, like accessibility we discussed? What other benefits they provide us?
Less strain on resources.
Sorry?
Less strain on the computing resources.
Less strain on computing resources, because now distributed resources can be harnessed in order to compute something. Okay, so this is one advantage which we don't have in normally in desktop application. What else? What do you think? Multi-platform. Yeah. You just need a browser, thin clients on your Android phone. You can access any website. And now, and traditionally, because organizations had a lot of data, and web technologies were not pacing up, were not capable to handle that bulk amount of data and show it in a browser. It was very slow. But now we have seen even every application, the applications which need big data, for example, they have web-based interfaces. It means technologies has matured, that web interface is now providing all the functionality that we used to have in desktop applications. So that's why our web application is important in this arena. So as I mentioned, I took this information from Accenture, who is one of the leading IT consultancy company, who guide the businesses what to do, how they can design the strategy. Now, web technologies got maturity in last decade, we can say, but most of the organizations, they started businesses maybe 4 decades ago. And their legacy applications are the applications which they built. For example, 70% of applications, majority of businesses built in COBOL. Now, how they can expose those systems to the users or to other departments who are located somewhere else? This is a big challenge for those companies. And web development technologies provide a solution. You can create a wrapper and you can expose your information. Application complexity is arising. One is the business logic itself getting complex, and second is the environment is changing. We are in need of cyber physical systems, Internet of Things. Everything is connected to the internet. Machines are connected to the internet. Your home devices, they are connected to the internet. Okay, So complexity is increasing again. Web development technologies provide you a solution. Okay. And for businesses, it's very important that they can expand their partnerships, expand their collaborations. And now companies are not confined to one country. They are working across the globes. Even businesses don't have their physical warehouses. They are doing a lot of businesses. So these are the things, the challenges which companies are facing get addressed by web development technologies. And that's why we see most of the applications that are built today, they would have web development interface. And we know that internet was there in 1970s. Network was there, but it was the real growth of network and internet technologies, a real utilization, you can say, expansion of these technologies, uses of these technologies by users only happened when World Wide Web was introduced. And World Wide Web is a service that runs over the internet, and it is a set of technologies, protocols that tells us, okay, how information can be accessed remotely. What would the protocol? What language would be used to create web pages? What HTML tag would mean? How it would be interpreted by the browser? How it would be displayed, and so on. So these are the things basically led widespread adoption of web applications. So it really changes the way we basically do our businesses, we do our daily life things. Okay. And as I mentioned that previously, computing power was a constraint. Technologies were not mature. But through this slide, you can see that we have gone through a great transition where computing power is available in the form of clusters, in the form of cloud computing, in the form of distributed technologies that can basically harness those clusters for application. In short, computing power is there now, and you can harness that computing power very easily. And previously, the data which were not you were able to process using web technologies, now that is possible. Now your browser will not hang for 10 minutes to display bulky data set. So we witness that web technologies are hot of new web application development arena, and especially in this course we'll focus on PHP and ASP.NET, and that are leading preferred languages by many companies. PHP is open source. For small to medium size enterprises, they love open source technologies. So PHP provides them a solution. PHP, MySQL, and Apache Web Server, it's the best combination for them. And ASP.NET technologies, again, many companies, they need solutions for which they can get continuous support. And Microsoft basically is a well-established company that can provide the continuous support over a period of time. Whereas in open source technology, you may not get continuous support. So in short, there are various technologies available right now. HTML5, in the next lecture I will introduce you. There are many tags now available that you can link your video by using one tag. Whereas previously you need to code in some programming language to link your videos. So things are changing rapidly. So this is, I'm sure you got an idea that why web applications are critical for us. This is the unit overview, and you can see that we will start with programming systems today, how to program and what are the basic things, rules you need to keep in mind. Then we look at the structuring program, modules, hierarchies, and documentation is also an integral part of the software. Then we look at writing applications. We look at data structures like array, DBMS systems, something about a few information about them. We also discuss menus are very critical in web application, how a user can navigate through your website. Data validation, again, make sure legitimate data, valid data should enter your application. We will go through them as well. Then we look at event-driven programming, web pages, buttons that trigger events, and so on. Using relational databases, session variables, we will discuss a bit about them today as well, and project management. So this course basically, although focused on programming techniques, and in labs mostly we will be doing programming, but it also covers other aspects which are useful for you to develop as a team lead or as a successful developer who is not just focusing on coding thing, but also knows the surrounding environment, what important things need to be taken care of. So The learning outcomes at the end of this course, you will be able to structure web application. Okay, so you will be able to identify the scenarios and build data-driven application. The way basically most applications are built today. You will be introduced to two development environments, PHP and ASP.NET. And within ASP.NET, there are different ways you can code, you can develop your application. And we will see inline coding initially in first 4 or 5 weeks, how you can embed ASP.NET code within the HTML. Because in many cases, you may be required that you need to write a code where in a page where HTML exists, and you need to modify things over there. So it's a good practice. It would be good practice for you, especially in first 4 or 5 weeks. So you will be introduced to different working environment, 2 languages in this case. I will also introduce you MVC pattern, which is provided in ASP.NET. You will be able to develop event-driven applications. Okay? That will have very intuitive graphical user interface, and using in ASP.NET in second phase of our this unit, especially your second assessment, everything we will do drag and drop and build your applications quickly. Maybe in a couple of hours you can build a very intuitive, rich application without writing a single line of code. So that will be a later half of this course. So majority of programming concepts, techniques will be introduced to you, and then you can apply no matter what scenario you're working on, which programming language is used. So in this course, we will inculcate those skill sets which basically are core of any development environment. I hope you would have seen the Blackboard website. If not, then please go through it. Okay, browse the websites and see how the contents are organized, especially the assessments. There are 2 assessments which are uploaded. If you have any questions, get back to me. Also make use of forums to sharing ideas. If you are facing certain issues, you can drop a message on Blackboard, or you can email me as well. So I want you to be self-motivated learner. This is a development course. So in development, every person can think of different logic to build something. So I want you to be self-motivated, self-learning attitude. There's a lot of examples available on the web. We have done something in some certain fashion, go and browse on the internet. What are the different ways other people have done this? And there's a lot of material available on the internet as well. So I will provide you a set of resources, and if you need any resources further, if you're not able to find on the internet, you can let me know. Important things, raise issue as soon as possible so that I can address them, whether it's regarding some learning, the contents learning issue, or some other issue which you are facing that hinders your learning curve. Questioning attitude, critical thinking, these are very critical. In order to create a learning, critical thinking environment, problem solving environment, these things are very important. So this is your course. I want to enjoy it. Most of the people who basically like to program, they enjoy it. Okay, so I want you to follow that. Especially in second assessment, I give leverage to the students to implement the second assessment the way they want. I give them option. They can use MVC pattern. They can use totally code behind using drag and drop menu, form controls, or the other ways as well. Entity framework, I will introduce it to you very briefly. So I give options to the student that if you want to go that track, that's okay. I can provide you help, but it's you who will basically have to do most of the work. And I met one student who basically chose MVC pattern using entity framework, and he got a job. And he came back to me and told me, you gave me this option, I was able to explore it, and now I'm doing a job in the same area. So and again, I will discuss when we will discuss second assessment. What you can expect from me, I will be available to you, answer your queries. So on-campus students, you can come and see me. Better to drop me an email, then we can schedule a meeting. Online student, don't hesitate to drop me an email, okay? Or you can even call me on my office phone. Some of you would be coming with programming background, maybe working in industry, so I appreciate alternative viewpoint. You can bring in, and it definitely increase our learning. So I value your experience and knowledge which you carry along. And I will try my best to provide you as much possible feedback during the lab session if you're working on assessment, and afterwards as well. And what is different this time? Previously, ASP was part of this course, classical ASP, which we sometimes call as VB script. Okay, but in this time I've removed that from this course because new websites are not being developed using classic ASP. There may be some sites which people are maintaining, but their number has reduced tremendously. So that's why we don't need to study that language anymore. But so we will focus on PHP, which is the latest version 7, and ASP.NET using C#. But you can use VB as well. There's syntactical difference, but if you know about VB, you can use VB as well. Okay, and within C# we will use inline coding and code behind. And in lab I will demonstrate what I mean by that. And so because of this change, I will be updating workshop and course content, mostly workshops from week 2 to week 5. Okay, so I will be updating them. So if you have already downloaded workshop, I'm sure I have removed all the workshop from the website. But if there is any workshop, remember it will get updated. So the final version would be when you would be doing your lab. Okay, so I will be updating contents and the labs before delivery of the lecture and the workshop.
So you'll update each week, or will you update them sort of all at once if we want to move ahead?
Hopefully by mid of next week I will update all of them. So what I'm doing, I am updating them. I'm going back to the previous assessment to make sure the things which I have explained in the next week, they should be addressed somehow in first week. So hopefully by mid of next week or end of week, I will upload all of them. Okay, so I'm doing them so that you can have a better understanding what you're expecting next week. So by mid of next week or end of everything will be uploaded. Okay, so that's it. Any question regarding unit? Good. Recording is going on. That's good. Okay, now I think I can stop this.